welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals, the grand finales here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 82. It's been an intense tournament so far. Plenty of TvPs, TvTs, and PvPs even as well. But now we have found our last two players. We're here in our best of 5 grand finals. We're here with our top two, Ryung and Shameless, and we're here to crown our Sparkling Tuna. Let's go. One is a previous champion. We have our Terran coming in as a champion beforehand, but we have another coming in trying to claim his first win. Here we go. As spawning in the right hand corner of Amygdala, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. He's Shameless, Pappy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran. Representing Team Vitality, it is Ryung. And you know what time it is? It's Gamma time. It's prediction time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets in the chat for who you think will claim the series, who is going to be this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. Again, Ryung, he has one, or actually, does he? My apologies. I believe he does, yes. I believe Ryung, he has one win under his belt so far in the history of Sparkling Tuna. But alas, Shameless does not. Shameless has yet to win a tournament himself. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can claim it. Sorry, just double checking. It was 3 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago where Ryung went to the ace match. No, sorry, my apologies. I misspoke. My apologies, I misspoke. It was 3 weeks ago that Ryung made it to the finals, but Ryung, he did not become our champion. That was Skilless. Skilless, he was our, of course, reigning champion from STC number 80. Ryung and Shameless, neither one have claimed a win before. Okay, so it's going to be a first. Regardless of who wins, regardless of who loses, it is going to be a first here for either one. Let's go. Let's go. We're here for their first time. For now, economic opener. Economic start here by Ryung, going for the max expand. Economic start. Likewise, Shameless going for standard opener as well. I mean, we're loading into Amygdala, so we expect standard openers. Regardless, we expect economic play. This is a larger map of the map pool, more known for macro based play and more known for the mid game, at least mid to late game. But something that Ryung is known for in this matchup that we have not seen yet today, as we have yet to cover Ryung's TvP, is mech. If you were here last week, we casted Ryung versus Skilless in the semifinals, and Ryung, he did mech it up. He did mech it up in those semis, both in game 1 and in game 2 against Skilless. Game 2 was on this map, by the way, and Skilless was able to punish Ryung. He was able to punish him. He was able to break Ryung before the mech got into full swing. If you recall, Ryung at the time, he was skipping Hellions, he was skipping Cyclones, he was going pure tank, and then bam, Skilless, he broke in with Blink Stalkers. He reset the tank count at the end of the game before Ryung could really settle in and stabilize. We'll see if Shameless can stop Ryung from that mech, assuming that Ryung does play mech here. I'm making the assumption that he will at least once in this series. We'll see if it's going to be game 1. For now, 1-1-1 opener. We have our take of choice from Shameless, going for a Twilight Council back at home, Twilight Council into Blink. We'll see how many gateways get thrown down. This could be 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalker. Depending on the gateways, that will determine how aggressive or how greedy and economic Shameless wants to be. For now, there is that Blink. And for now, we have 2 gates. So far, 2-gate opener here out of Shameless. On a large map like Amygdala, 2-gate play seems more viable to get into a faster expansion. We do see Ryung going in with the scout and trying to get a read on what's going on. Hellion does poke forward, does threaten the main, and with that scout confirms the tech, confirms not Stargate, is going to be Blink, is going to be the Twilight Council. So far, a nice scout here from our Terran player. Will pull out and will get away just barely. Oh no! I spoke too soon. Adept will commit to the shade, and can we get a shot off? Oh, we can. Hellion gets locked down, and do you see what I see? I see a second Rax. Whew, okay, so I was talking about mech previously, and I do expect mech at some point in this series, but not in game 1, as that is not a second factory, that is a second Rax, which means we're getting ready for an add-on swap. Yep, second and third Rax into Bio. So tank opener into Bio. It is going to be a more standard setup here by Ryung. He's not having too much fun with mech yet, not in game 1. but keep that in the back of your mind here for game number 2 and game number 3 and the rest of the series. Also, before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Luis in the chat. Gab, I mean, a big shout out to Luis, of course, for giving us a raid. Sorry, I was meant to give you a shout out at the start of the game, but did slip my mind. But thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. And welcome. Bienvenidos todos from Luis's stream. Welcome, welcome. Bienvenidos. Here we are in the grand finals of our tournament. This is a weekly tournament. Every single week we host the Sparkling Tuna Cup. And again, Ryung, he made it to the semifinals last time. Shameless, he's had some deep runs before, but neither one of these two has been a champion. Neither one. Zero pokes in. Does poke in. Stim is on the way. So it's going to be a 3-1-1 setup here. Into Stim, into combat shields, +1. Or the traditional upgrades here. Or the upgrades are on the way. Likewise, did you see Shameless? Interesting. Okay, so he did go for a 2-gate opener. It was 2-gate blink into a 3rd base, so it was very economic here from Shameless, which is what we expected. Following this up, we're going to charge +1 and into a bay into Colossus production. Now, the army supply here for Shameless is quite low. Again, he's been skipping warp-ins, and he has few warp-ins to begin with anyway. But now, you know, he's just focusing on his economy, focusing on his production, and Ryung isn't really threatening him. Ryung, he's not really threatening his opponent, so Shameless is getting away with it. So far, so good. Also, my apologies, there was a 3rd gate, so it was 3-gate, not 2. So 3-gate blink into a 3rd. Likewise, Ryung still building up. Massing up his army, and he will soon move out with Stim. Now, what concerns me here, this looks normal, except there are 2 more Raxes behind the 3-rack setup. These 2 Raxes could have been, oh no, never mind, we have a 3rd CC. We have a 3rd CC as well, which means we should be getting add-ons. So far, Ryung, he is expanding. He is expanding, is getting a 3rd base, is macroing up, and getting into the mid-game. Which means he might be able to break out, but he shouldn't really be able to threaten Shameless. By the time Ryung gets across the map with this kind of army, Shameless should have Colossus. Here comes the CC. Ryung, he breaks out to expand. And the first Colossus has already arrived, and the second one is already on the way. So again, this kind of lends towards the map that we're playing on as well. Plays into Amygdala. Just something more macro-oriented. Raven comes in, takes down the Brit, so takes down the shield battery, not bad. As Raven is still alive. Has a couple of kills. 3 probes and a shield battery. Likewise, Ryung securing himself, getting his 3rd. Do you see what I see? So if you recall earlier, I was talking about mech. That is Blue Flame. That's weird. So we did have the bio opener, but now we have Blue Flame on the way. This almost looks like Ryung wants to transition, wants to switch. I mean, Blue Flame Hellions, they can harass, they can annihilate mineral lines. I'm curious if we do plan on throwing down more factories, or if this is just for like Hellion harass in the mid game, which is not very common. It's not seen to. He's making Hellbats. So this is not a common sight, not a common transition. I'm a little bit concerned. What this means is that there's going to be less Widow Mines to support the army. Likewise, this is going to eat into the, potential second starports as well. Going for the second factory instead. Ghost Academy's on the way. Okay. So it looks like it's only Hellions to harass. It's a bit of an odd move, not going to lie. It's not very standard. We'll see if it pays off. Hellions have potential for damage. But as we mentioned, like in other aspects, he's going to be stifled. Again, late second starport. Likewise, no Widowmine support either. It's going to be a little pressure here on these Hellions and Hellbats. Actually, yeah, he's morphing them all exclusively into Hellbats here. I wonder. So the plan is, instead of going Widowmine for the Zealots, he's going Hellbat. I mean, they can tank, I guess. True. In some ways I can see the logic, in other ways I can't. As they're not the most nimble of units here. Likewise, there won't be any detection required to clean them up. So we are fortifying our positions. Now we have the second starport. The Viking count is quite low. Only 4 Vikings for 3 Colossus. That is not enough. So Shameless looking very secure here. Have to run by attempt or the counterattack attempted. Shameless, he does gain control of the Zarnaga. Shameless is max, both players are. I do favor Shameless's army, I'll be honest. I'm not too convinced by this Hellbat support, but we'll see. We have advanced servers on the way. Let's go. Never goes up. Bit of an awkward Nova. Terrain working against Shameless. At the same time, we do have a drop here harassing the gold. Shameless does attempt to respond. We'll shut down the Hellbats. So reinforcements have to go the long way around. Stalkers are exposed here to the Marauders. Has to back up. Pulls away. 8 workers go down. Nice damage here from Ryung. Trying to respond. But the main army is pushing forward. Oh, nice mine shot. Main army is moving in. Ryung, he spots it. He's aware. He's getting ready. Still low Viking count. Does have EMPs. He has a lot of supply in these Hellions and Hellbats, I'll be honest. He's got how many? He's got 7 Hellbats and 3 Hellions, so 10 in total. He's getting 3 more. And we got nukes on the way. I do think that Shameless is still giving Ryung a lot of time. But now he's finally moving out. And he will find some of these ghosts. Doesn't commit. Doesn't want to get flanked. Auto charge to harass. Shaw says Novas. Disruptors are exposed. Novas, they pop off. Oh, massive connections. And more Novas will connect. They shut down the main army. Colossus wreaking havoc. 1 Colossus is going to be going down. Just the 1 though. Oh, the other getting low. Do we have any Novas left? Down to 1 Colossus. It's still getting quite close. Here come the Zealot reinforcements. Reinforcements are delayed. Vikings, they've been popping up. Only 4 Vikings. They take down all 3 Colossus. That should not have happened. That should not have happened. Yeah, there was no target firing from Shameless from those Stalkers. He was on a move. Man, give Ryung 4 Vikings. He'll kill any Colossus. It's crazy. Oh no! Missed movement here from Shameless. Disruptor goes down. Massive pickup. Does get a Disruptor, but the charge composition here. He dives in. He chases down what little is left. Getting on top of those Marauders. At least trying to. Leaving supply behind. Planetary does help hold. And Ryung, he survives. Whew. Ryung, he does hold, he does survive. Maintains the 4th. Rebuilds his army. And again, that's a lot of Marauders. And again, Shameless. There was potential with that first fight. A lot of potential there. But alas, he wasn't target firing the Vikings. He lost every Colossus. Now he has to rebuild from scratch. Hellion run-by is their lackluster. They killed 3 probes. Just 3. Gold under control here of Shameless. Ryung going for his own gold. He's going for his own gold base. Still making Hellbats, by the way. Like, he is not stopped at all. He is committed. I'm still not convinced. But I'm ready to be convinced, baby. Let's go. It is quite a beefy army here. But still very vulnerable to these Novas. Now we're going back to Colossus production. I do think this was required earlier, because there's just barely any Vikings. There it goes up. Doesn't connect. And nice target firing. As we have our nuke. Ooh, does pop off. That's 14 probes going down. Shameless, he did not notice, did not react. And just like that, Shameless, he's hurting. Down in the economy. As we have another nuke on the way. Shameless trying to break out. Trying to push through. He's maxing out. He's maxing out on more Ghost. It's just the one Colossus for now. Oh, there it goes up. Nice connection. Does catch 2 Ghosts. 2 Ghosts going down. Like, I still favor Shameless's main army, especially if we can get some half-decent Novas off. But it still does come down to that control. Yo, that Ghost is on a mission. We have a nuke. He's going for the gold. He's going for the gold base. They'll say catch reinforcements. There's the nuke. This time does Shameless notice? No, he's not noticing. He's distracted. He's distracted. Nova, sorry, the nuke is going to connect. Shuts down the mineral line. 14 more probes going down. That's the second nuke. That's EMP. EMP on those disruptors. Ryung pulling Shameless apart. Shameless still has potential, still has all those disruptors. Has those Novas ready. 6. Has to pull away. Ryung stims in, he gets 1 disruptor. He's gonna get 2. Down to 4. Oh my god, still takes down 3 Ghosts. At the same time, massive Zealot counterattack. That was not a planetary, that was a CC. A little bit greedy there by Ryung. No planetary, 17 SCVs go down. Main armies almost clash. Almost. Still no Vikings here out of Ryung, or very limited. He's got how many? He's got 5. And again, Shameless has to target fire those Vikings. Doesn't need to focus them down in these engagements. Zarama coming back in. This time Ryung is ready. And this time he's in position. Shameless, he rotates. Does attempt to rotate. Forces back Ryung. Oh, not again! As a nuke is going to be popping off, and do we notice? Uh oh, no shot. Okay, he does. Whew. Does pull away out of the observer. Nuke takes down the observer. Observer takes down the Ghost just in time. But at least thankfully wasn't quite noticed. Oh, does recall, but the Colossus are exposed. That was not the recall he was hoping for. Yeah, the recall gets punished and every Colossus is going to be going down. Yeah, a bit of a miscalculation there from Shameless. He will lose all the Colossus, and Ryung is just pulling him apart. Pulling him apart left and right. There is no recall. The base is going to fall. The base is going down. And Ryung can just keep pushing. Takes down the mineral line. Takes down the expansion. Even here top left, this army is still standing strong. At least somewhat. And we're forcing a base raid. We're forcing a base raid here. Disruptors move in. That's still a lot of disruptors. Mining is being denied. And Ryung has plenty of reinforcements. He just has to hold the line. Hold the ramp. He's coming back home. Turns back around. Another nuke. Another nuke at the gold. Oh. That looks like Gray's the army. 2 Grays. Nuke does connect. No major probe kills. Workers had already gone down. Yeah, the one nuke with, sorry, the one goes with 4 kills. He's looking for a main fight. Now, something that's still in favor of Shameless is all those disruptors. Reality is that Shameless, given some good connections with those Novas, Shameless can win a fight. He can win a fight and then try to cripple the economy. So this is still on a knife's edge. This can still go either way. There he goes off. Speaking of, takes out the Ghost. The second Nova doesn't quite connect, neither does the third. Colossus goes down. Yeah, better trade for Ryung. Takes down 2 disruptors and a Colossus. Sorry, takes down 4 Colossus in total, including all those fights. All that accumulated damage. Likewise, Ryung setting with surround. Oh, he sets up the surround. Dives in. Sims 4 takes down 4 disruptors. And a Colossus. Yeah, Shameless, he's just being picked apart. He gets surrounded. He gets caught out. The pants were down. At the same time, does get into the mineral lines. SCVs are going down, but the main army does crumble. This is good economic damage. But I'm afraid to look. Shameless, he is down to 1 disruptor. So he has left 1. Now 2. Second disruptor on the way. Storm coming into play towards the end. But that's Storm against Mass Marauder. And Ryung, he can take some storms to the face. He's okay. He can take him. He rotates. Catching out some of these Dark Templar. Zoning Nuke. Uh-oh. Nuke is meant to zone, not meant to connect. Okay. The army might be forced back. And Nuke is going to pop up a little bit too soon. No major connection. Instead, Shameless, he's taking the fight here. Cornering Ryung. There's a scan. Zealous, they go down. Without Zealous, there's no buffer, there's no support. There is that storm, though. Ryung, he splits, he avoids that. He mostly avoids a storm. Mostly. The army is overstimmed. Still very close. Zealots, they trade well. Oh my god, they shut down so many Marauders. Marauders, Hellbats, they go down to the Zealots. But again, once the Zealots run out, Shameless, he has to back off. He cannot engage. He's those Zealots. Ryung pulling back. He's on 33 SCVs. He has a high base count, but low SCVs. He's not really mining too efficiently. He has to rely on mules. Likewise, Shameless is top left. And half of the gold. So we're getting scrappy. Shameless did morph in a couple of High Templars, so he has Storms. Storms are available. Likewise, no more Ghosts, no more EMPs. High Templar, they're safe for now. The Ghost production has recommenced. Ghost production is underway. And both players, after intense fighting, we back off. And Shameless, he's saturating his bases, he's regaining his economy. Going back into Colossus. Okay, we're resetting in a way. Calming down. Building up our armies. Shameless loves catch a couple of SCVs. Gets a couple of workers. Colossus have arrived. Shameless doesn't quite commit. Still licking his wounds, getting up to 4 Colossus. And in this kind of game state, do we have any Vikings? 0. 0 Vikings here for Ryung. With a high enough Colossus count, Ryung, he doesn't really have an answer to that. Not an easy answer. He scans, he sees the army. First Viking's on the way. Getting his first Viking. Oh. Nice splits. Doesn't quite get the disruptor. There we go, making more Vikings. He scans, sees even more Colossi. Hellion Rumbys are popping off. Not bad. No side defense. Probes are going down. At the same time, though, ooh, a planetary will fall. Massive pickup. Up. Go save water to the army. Oh my god, the lasers! Yeah, the claws, they fall. They shut down the army. It melts. And Shameless, he will take the fight. He shuts Ryung down completely. The ghosts go down. The marines as well. Oh my god. That was a brutal fight for Ryung, pushing up a ramp into a concave of Colossus without Vikings. He face checked with the ghosts. At the same time, does get a mineral line, but as you can see here, that was 5 ghosts going down for 1 disruptor and a couple of gateway units. Now to make up for that, Ryung does get a mineral line. True. Does take down the mineral line. Main armies rotate. Oh. No, pulls away. He's stuck on a 1 base economy. Shamelessly blinks forward, takes down the tank, denies the gold. Just 1 base saturation here for Ryung. Heavily oversaturated. That's all he has. He desperately needs another expansion, but there is none. There's the gold, and even then, not that much left. Shameless, meanwhile, freely mining. I say freely mining did lose a mineral line, did lose 2 mineral lines, actually. So these Blue Flame Hellions, they have had some success, and they continue to. Remember, there's no side defense, no cannons, no shield batteries. Hellions, they do check bottom right, but there are Zealots in position. So that's to pull away. Still very tense. Oh my god, he comes back too soon. Comes back too soon. 8 SCVs go down. Shameless. Calm down, man. I really, I should say, Ryung, calm down. I'm just trying to think. At this point, it might be wise to splitting up his army. Gonna attempt to flank. Disruptors, they now join up with the main force, though. That's a lot of disruptors. Decent EMP. Ooh, gets a ghost. Never does clip a ghost. Cranky stems in, takes down the Archon. Going for the first Colossus. Very nice pickups. Eats a storm. Nervous, we get some decent splits. Good enough. Takes down 2 Colossus. There's 2 left. And even more disruptors going to be going down. Very nice target firing here by Ryung. 1 disruptor remains. And so far, good splits. But can he deal with the Gateway Army? It's still looking close here. There's 1 Colossus remaining. Vikings are going down. They should be targeted. And with that, Shameless, he will take the fight. Takes down all the Vikings. The 1 Colossus going ham. And he breaks through. Shameless, he does it. He breaks the main force. There's nothing left. Reinforcements start trickling in. But GG gets called. Shameless, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Oh my god. Shameless, he took like 3 nukes to the face. He lost like 2 full mineral lines, papi. Oh my god. It was not an easy game. Shameless taking some nukes to the face. Likewise, time and time again, his either disruptor count or his Colossus count was being reset. But overall, he was maintaining a greater economy. Despite losing all these workers, despite losing all these mineral lines, he still had more bases. He still had a greater economy. And that is something that he was able to maintain for the majority of that game. Strange fights. Well, if you recall, Ryung was all in. Remember, he had no economy. He was stuck on like half a base mining. He had no income. He was all in. He had to force a fight. That's what he had to do. So Marauder Heavy. That is your ideal kind of bio composition. We saw that because it was so Marauder Heavy, the Colossus, they weren't really trading too well against the mass amount of Colossus, unlike a Marine Heavy composition, which would just melt completely. But as we saw, it barely wasn't enough. More than anything, it was the economy. Like that's what killed Ryung that game. That's what I'm trying to emphasize, is because of the low base count, because of the low worker count as well, or really just low base count, he could not sustain those losses, could not keep up. Meanwhile, Shameless could. Shameless, he could afford to lose wave after wave of Disruptor and Colossus, and he was losing a lot of robo units, a lot of expensive losses. A lot of extensive losses, and in the end, Shameless was able to outproduce his opponent. What's happening? Okay, we're good, we're good. Suddenly Jumi appeared. Suddenly Jumi appeared in the chat. Sorry, in-game in the lobby. So we got rid of him, we got rid of him. STG. But regardless, GG. GG, well played. Here we go, we're now getting into our next setup. I guess weak versus disruptor. Marauders are a little bit more ideal against disruptors because they can tank disruptor shots and they can target them down as well. But yes, Hellbats are weaker towards disruptors. That is true. Is true. But here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 2 here. We're loading into one of our TLMC maps, one of the rush maps. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Error Home, we have our blue Protoss player. Our blue Protoss leading the series 1-0. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran, representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. Whew. GG, well played again. A very intense game 1, very long, very back and forth. We had some strong moments for Ryung. If you were here for it, Ryung, he nuked 2 entire mineral lines, 14 probes, and then another 14 workers went down. The nukes were popping off. Ryung, he was catching out free disruptors, catching out groups of not just disruptors, Colossus as well. But again, he was denied base after base after base. He was denied an economy, and eventually ran out of steam. Eventually, he ran out of steam, and with that, Shameless did take a lead. He was able to overcome, able to overwhelm, and with that, Shameless is up 1-0. Let's go. Let us go. Shameless does take a lead, and now we are getting into game number 2. And we'll see if Shameless can recover. Sorry, we'll see if Ryung can recover. We'll see if Shameless can keep up the momentum. Again, welcome 1-0 to Error Home. Error Home is a very small map, very short rush distance by ground. I mean by air as well. As you can see here, we have a very narrow ramp coming into the third, coming into the natural, but the rush distance by ground is insanely short from base to base. There are some choke points to help make up for that you can defend at, but aggression is favored, heavily favored on this map. But now, double gas opener, faster factory. We have a fake proxy here by Ryung. Ooh, and the probe does confirm. Probe does confirm the fake proxy. And Shameless doesn't have much to be too concerned by. Chronoing out the Zealots. Sorry, chronoing out the Stalker. Still getting the expansion. We are committing. We are committing not just into the initial double gas, into a second factory, into an add-on swap. Oh boy. Ryung, he's going for the all-in. He's going for an all-in here. Double factory add-on swap into early Cyclone, I'm assuming, or potentially early tank. What's it going to be? Do we go for the tank rush? Do we go for the Cyclone rush instead? Likewise, we do have a second tech lab. With 2 tech labs, I'm feeling Cyclones. I'm feeling Cyclones, but we'll see what Ryung does embrace. I mean, we could just see both. There we go. First Cyclone is in production, and we should soon be seeing a second Cyclone as well. Now, what's scary is that Shameless doesn't know. Shameless, he saw the racks earlier, or at least he saw the Reaper. He should be aware that something is wrong. Yep, double Cyclone production. Oh boy. And again, this kind of play is going to be favored, is going to be assisted here by the size of the map, by Error Home. And Ryung, he might just pull the boys with this as well. The boys are going to be pulled to buffer, to help repair, to keep these Cyclones going. Again, Cyclones in the early game, they can overwhelm. But Shameless is playing safe. Shield Battery. Thankfully, does go for a safe response. Shield Battery's on the way. He has the high ground. Throws down extra gateways. He's going for a 3-gate setup. Very safe play here by Shameless. Cyclone is revealed. And here comes that ranks for high ground vision. We spoke about the boys. The boys have been pulled. They're here to repair. They're here to repair. There's a first scan. Shield Battery putting in a lot of work. Does save the first Stalker. There's the NG overcharge. Oh my god, that's so much DPS. Stalkers are barely holding on. Can we get on top of the Cyclones? He can. He can. 1, 2 volleys go up. First Cyclone goes down, but there's still 3 left. Still 3 Cyclones remaining. Locons are brutal. Barely can he get one. He cannot. He's being split here. He's being pulled apart. Cyclones are being held onto. They're being repaired. 3 of them get low, but they will survive the control. Ryung, he saves the Cyclones. He has to repair, though. He has to repair as quickly as possible. Rax is moving in. Ryung, he's gaining ground. Boys are being pulled. They're tanking out. They're tanking some of those lock-ons. Oh, gets a Cyclone. Gets 1. Blinks forward. Blink is done. He gets 1. He gets 2. He gets 3. And with that, Shameless, he should shut this down. Just barely. There's 1 Cyclone left. Cleans up all the Cyclones, and Ryung, he's out of steam. He's out of steam. He's out of units. GG gets called, and Shameless, he will take a 2-0 lead. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG well played. Shameless, he will take a 2-0 lead here. Again, a very intense all-in here by Ryung, but Shameless, if you remember, he was able to scout. He was able to get eyes on the racks initially. He didn't see the second factory, but remember, safe play. He didn't cut corners. He played safely. He went up to 3 gateways. He went for a blink-based opener, 3 gates, shield battery on the high ground. He didn't cut corners, didn't play greedy, and the last Shameless, he was not punished. He was able to keep up, maintain himself, and with that, we're now getting into our next game. We are jumping into game number 3, and the pressure is now on Ryung. Oh boy. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. Otherwise, Shameless, he will run away with this. He'll run away with finals. Boy, as we load into ley lines. Now, coming into ley lines here, this is where I expect mech. I mentioned before that Ryung, he does like to mech it up. We haven't seen mech yet here in this series. This wouldn't be a bad map for it. In saying that, I feel like if we were going to see mech, it would have been on Amygdala, really, more than anything. So my eyes are going to be on Ryung. I mean, clearly, he's the one to keep an eye on. He has gone for different openers, different builds, different styles. We'll see how he does shake it up. As we are getting into game number 3 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the blue Protoss player, or the blue Protoss representing Team Little Fairy, leading the series 2-0, 1 game away from becoming our Sparkling Tuna Cup champion for the first time in his career. Can he get it? Can he make it that far? Can he win his first tuna? It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. Down in this series, he was favored. He was favored coming into this tournament. He was the #1 seed. He is a reigning champion of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, but he is struggling here in the finals. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is Ryung. Rico. As we have double gas open out of Ryung. Ryung going for a faster factory. This time the Rax is back at home. There's no real or fake proxy. Not out of Ryung. Not this time. Shameless dipping into the main. Does dip in. He does spot the initial Rax. Doesn't check further. Going for his own setup. There's that factory on the way for Ryung. Oh. So far, so standard. I mean, double gas. But outside of that, we have nothing too crazy to report yet. Probe does pull away. Probe scout is denied. For all Shameless knows, there could be a CC on the high ground, or there could be a factory. Like, Shameless is very much so in the dark as to what's happening. And as a result, should play safe. Ooh, setting up... Potentially setting up a pylon. The Reaper does scout. Reaper does find the probe, and the probe is going to be cleaned up. Meanwhile, Ryung expanding. Again, it's ley lines. Ley lines is a larger map compared to Arrow Home or Ultra Love. So Ryung is expanding. No crazy one base all in this time. Meanwhile, Tyler cancel play out of Shameless into Blink. in towards a longer game. Whew, okay, as crazy and as intense as game 2 was, we're slowing things down. We're getting to a longer game state. Ryung is expanding, so is Shameless. The Adept does scout the CC, so he knows. He is aware of the delayed command center. He knows that there's a faster factory, but at least he's aware that there's an expansion, of course. So he knows he's safe. We can see Ryung opening up with an early Cyclone. And we're going for the add-on sub. Okay, I was going to say, are we going to open up into early tank? But as a reminder, because of double gas opener, this can lead into Cyclone, into tank, into a drop all-in across the map. Or we can lead into an add-on swap into Banshee play. That's what I'm leaning towards here. Is a 1-1-1 Banshee opener here out of Ryung, which is quite trendy amongst the top tier Terran players. You know, Clem, Maru, Yun, Ryung as well. There it is, Cloak Banshee. So Cloak Banshee on the way. Shameless currently is in the dark, and Shameless has no sentry either. Now, if there was a sentry, we could see a hallucination scout into the main, and then he would confirm what's going on. But here, for the time being, we have just a blink-based opener, extra gateways, no sentry. As Ryung gets a full scout, Ryung confirms blink. Ryung is aware. Just 3-gate blink into a third. I say a third base, my apologies, double gas. Okay, gas is first before expanding, which means Shameless may opt to go for a Bay a little bit earlier. And settle for Colossus production before expanding. The earlier Robo also leads into early Observers. So really safe play here, getting the first to move out, and even a second as well. Stalkers are being more defensive. Ready for a Mind Drop. Ready for Banshee. There's the expansion. And the first Banshee does move out. Now, Ryung, he's playing Bio. We have 2 more Raxes on the way. Is getting to a Bio setup. Oh, and I had assumed that Shameless was going to open up Blink Stalker into Colossus, but no, that is Blink Stalker into Templar Archives into Storm. And it gets scouted immediately. It's scouted, is spotted. Shameless is in position here for the Banshee. Does zone away. But at least Ryung got the scout. Meanwhile, that's a third observer. Gee, that's a lot of observers. Third observer on the way. Banshee does find some damage. Got superbs. Does get 2 workers. Just the 2. Storm, of course, is being prioritized as we speak. Again, Ryung is fully aware. And will eventually build up. So he does scout the Observer. Spots the Observer. As Ryung moves out, he should expand, as he is still waiting for Stim. Stim is still on the way. There's a third expansion. We're getting to the mid-game. Both players getting to their third bases, and soon Shameless should take a fourth. Did he cancel Storm? That should not have happened. I think that was a bit of a misclick there, but Storm was cancelled and restarted. It was like halfway done. I hope that he didn't go to like Chrono Storm and then cancel it on accident. As yeah, he has high tempo, he's gathering energy. Like he intends to let it finish. So a bit of a misclick there from Shameless. Building back up. It's like then he cancels again. It's like no. But thankfully it's not like he's missing any kind of timing at the moment. So should finish up and we should, there we go, there's Chrono. Just to make sure it's done a little bit faster in case Ryung were to push. Now Shameless is secure. He's got his Storm. Now getting to double Forge, double upgrades, fourth base on the way. major move outs. Even upon finishing up the upgrades, Ryung, he did not push. That is a early second factory, and we might see Ryung once again go into reactored Hellion production with Blue Flame. Yep, there it is. Just like game one. It's going to be Hellions instead of Widow Mines. And again, as we saw in the previous game, it's a unique style, definitely. It is an alternative to Widow Mine play. Personally, I'm not too fond of it. It is a bit of a... I mean, I guess we saw some of the benefits, right? It's like, I would say the main benefit here is that you do have the option to morph the Hellbats into Hellions and go for run-bys. And we did see a lot of Blue Flame Hellion counterattacks, and we saw a lot of pros being killed by those Blue Flame Hellions. So that is true. That is like a benefit here to incorporating Hellions. But I do think as a part of the main army, it is a little bit weaker. So you sacrifice some of the strength of your main army for potential harassment. When it comes to one of the reasons why this would make the main army weaker, so Widowmine Bio, the added benefit here is that with Widowmines you can borrow them and they don't really disrupt movement from your main army. Movement with Bio is so important when it comes to stimming forward and diving on Disruptors, diving on Colossus, but also stimming away and splitting up your forces. Hellbats, they kind of get in the way of that, so they can make control a little bit more awkward for the Terran. Army gets spotted. Ryung, he's pushing forward. Is moving in. Oh, Storm does flank. I mean, these Marauders, they can tank some of these Storms. Another flanking Storm coming in. Oh, doesn't quite connect. But Stalkers, they dive forward, and they do overextend. Yeah, Stalkers, they go down one after the other. The Storms were not good enough, and Ryung snowballs out of control. He takes down the main army, he takes down the base, and from here, he might just be able to end the game. Zealots, they finally coming to reinforce. That's what Shameless was missing. He needed more Zealots. He was not ready. At the same time, though, Zealots, they pop off 12 SCV kills. 12 workers going down, but Ryung, his main force is not going to stop. He's not going to stop. He stims, and he wins. Again, Storms, they tickled the army. The connections were not good enough. And likewise, Zealots were late. Zealots were delayed. Now we get a decent Storm towards the end. Oh my god, he stands in the Storms. But it's fine. He can take the Storm to the face perfectly fine. Sims on in. GG gets called, and Ryung, he fights back. He puts a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, the comeback has begun. We do have a back and forth. It's not going to be one-sided. It's not going to be a 3-0. Ryung does take game number 3. Again, unfortunately, Shameless, it looked like he panicked a little bit towards the end. He was trying to flank with Storms, but again, he was mainly connecting with Marauders or not connecting at all with them. Likewise, I don't know if you noticed, but Shameless, he blinked forward, which was crazy. He blinked onto the army, onto Marauders, so he lost all the Stalkers. Yeah, everything kind of fell apart there for Shameless, and Ryung snowballed out of control with that fight. Kind of the big buffer that you really need with that Protoss army is Zealots, and we saw that Chargers, they warped in at the end. They warped in after the fight had concluded and after Shameless had lost all his Stalkers. So a little bit too little too late there for Shameless. And with that, Ryung does fight back. Now we're getting into game 4. Getting into game 4. And we'll see if Ryung can force the ace match or if it all ends here and now. Go. So players are getting ready. Are setting up. And game 4 is going to be on Frostline. Okay. Going to be loading into Frostline. One of the larger maps of the map pool. Is a large map. At the same time, we speak about this all the time, the 3rd and 4th bases are really exposed. Aggression can be heavily favored on this map as a result. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have our blue Protoss player. We have a blue Protoss representing Team Little Fairy, leading the series 2-1, one game away from winning his very first Sparkling Tuna Cup. Unamas, one more game is all he needs. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. As he has begun his comeback. Comeback has begun. SCV moves out. And we are setting up here to avoid the scouting probe. So Ryung does avoid. From here he can go in, he can go for the eBay block. And he can delay and disrupt the opener of Shameless. Let's go. Let us go. As eBay is on the way. And Shameless, he's going to have a late scout here. Yeah, plenty of progression on this eBay. The scout is late, and that means that Shameless, most likely, yeah, he's forced to take the unnatural natural. A very awkward position here for Shameless. Has to expand elsewhere. He doesn't want to. He's going for the Zealots. Yeah, he's going for the Zealot. Shameless, he will take a late expansion instead. I mean, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. So a rough start for Shameless. Oh, hello. Hiding his probe and setting up for a proxy. I mean, hey, if you can't expand, may as well. I mean, he has to spend his money somewhere. So setting up for a proxy. Now, this could be for a gateway to reinforce across the map and be hyper-aggressive, or this could be for a Stargate instead to try to deal some economic damage here with a proxy oracle. Cybercore is done. Is it a Stargate or is it a gateway? It's a gate. Okay. Gateway gets thrown down. So far, he has a 2-gate setup. So he can try to reinforce and push. There's a cancellation. eBay is denied. I see a 3rd gate. It's a one-way soul in. We're going for a one-way soul in here. And Shameless's hand was forced, as he just could not take the natural. Back across the map. Ryung, he went for a Rax into Faster Factory into a delayed TC. With this Ryung, he will have extra units early on. And more importantly, he will rescout. He's looking for the expansion. And it looks like Shameless is going for the Nexus. Shameless is building up his economy. Oh. Ryung coming in from behind. He hasn't seen the gate yet. Oh, and he's going to be denied. There's the Nexus. So Shameless, he will expand. But once Warp Gate finishes, Shameless, he can turn this defense into an offense. So he is making that Stalker. Last Ryung, he's checking. He scouts top left. Checking bottom right. He's looking for proxies. I mean, he knows. He knows that there could be a possibility here that there's a pylon, there's a Stargate, there's something. So he's checking. Oh, and he will confirm. Yeah, big scout here for Ryung. He does see the gateway, sees the Stalkers, gets the hell out of here. Bunkers on the way. Ryung, he's building up back at home. He's securing himself. I believe Ryung, he did not see the expansion. Doesn't know how committed Shameless is. Shameless is expanding. So he does move forward. Waddles up the ramp. Oh. Does threaten the main. Rotates over. Oh my god. Barely doesn't get the shots off. But the workers are getting very low. Oh god, they're lining up. The probes, they do line up, and can we get them? Barely one more shot, but the last workers, whew, they do survive. So many of them get low, but Shameless holds. Oh my god. Shameless does hold on. For those that are curious, it takes 3 Hellion shots to kill a probe. It takes 3 shots. But the shield battery was helping. Shield battery putting in a lot of work, just topping up those probes. Does keep them alive. And Ryung, he's going to be contained here for a little bit longer, just now breaking out. Most Stalkers have arrived. Remember, there's no Blink. There's no Twilight Council. Stalkers moving in. Shameless being zoned back. See Zerg Tannis in the shadow. Who won the raffle? Nikorak. Nikorak. The Terran player. Nico, if you will. Did win the raffle this week. Did win the raffle. Shameless does rotate into main. Going for a full scout. It does confirm that Stim's in production. The bio, of course. Saturated natural. And Shameless this entire time has been saturating as well. He was really just trying to contain. He wasn't really trying to break Ryung. So from here we can expand. We can settle in. We can build up. Ooh. Building back up. From here, again, it was a robot opener into faster immortal production, into charge, something you don't see too often. So immortals into charge, extra gateways on the way. This feels quite committed. You often don't open charge unless you do plan on being aggressive with this. So yeah, we have extra gateways. And we'll see how hard Shameless does commit. Is going for the Temple Archives. This is a little bit more tech heavy. There's still more gates on the way. Shameless could be expanding, but he is not taking a third. He throws out even more gates. Getting up to how many? Getting up to 8. He's going for an 8-gate setup. 5 in addition to the 3 that he already has. And this is a 2-base all-in. It's going to be an 8-gate 2-base all-in. I believe the Prism should be lined up with a couple of Archons. So we can morph into some Archons with a move out. Now, when it comes to this setup here that Shameless has, this is not really designed to break an entrenched Terran player, so this SimCity is actually quite beneficial here to Ryung. Charge also going to have a hard time breaking through this, but if Ryung moves out, if he expands, takes the third base, and if he's caught out in the open, in between his bases, or even at his third base, that is what Shameless is hoping for. That's what Shameless wants here, is to catch Ryung out in the open. Speaking of being out in the open, he unsieges. He does unsiege, he does move out, he will depower and deny one of these gateways. But at least he's not defending in the natural, which is what Shameless wants. Shameless wants him out in the open. Storm is almost done, building up more zealots. And the armies are about to clash. Ryung, he pushes. Shameless getting ready. Does he have any High Templar? He has 4. He has 4 High Templar in that Prism. He has Storms ready and available. How good are they going to be? Does spot the army. Trying to collapse in. Tanks that do siege. Here come the storms. But now good connection on the bio. Does try to blank it. First tank goes out. There's 1 tank left. But not enough. Shameless force back. Ryung is holding his own. I'll be honest, they did seem like panic storms by Shameless. Out of the 4 storms, I think 2 of them were solid. Tank does fall, and Shameless holds. Shameless does hold. Ryung has to get the hell out of here. He has to race back home. And Shameless from here, he can counterattack and threaten the third. So he's pushing. Remember, no third base. Like Shameless, he's pretty all in here. So 2 base all in out of Shameless. Warping in more Archons, more Zealots. Ryung is out in the open. He is pre-spreading. Does Shameless have enough? Storm's going to be less effective. Nice mine shot. Softens up those zealots. Ooh, the Prism is going to be zoned away. Shameless forced to unload. Going for another warp in. Warping in 7 zealots at a time. Ryung, he sees the warp in, he backs off. Gets the hell out of there. Pulls away. Ooh, decent connections. There's the first storm. There's at least 3 storms left. Boys are ready to be pulled. Oh my god, massive storm here on the army. But there's still plenty of marauders. And again, they can take some storms to the face. Oh, the mine shots are brutal. Zealots are going down. Does try to pre-split. We do get a final storm. Boys are being pulled. Now there's no more storms. Yeah, no storms remaining. Does he have enough? There's not many marauders left, but likewise, zealots are running out. Running out of zealots, stalkers are exposed. Dust him in. And Ryung, he will shut this down. He shuts down the stalkers, the immortals, everything. Will cost him 23 SCVs. Will cost him his economy, but he shuts everything down. Even the War Prism. And now we're in a weird game state. So, on the one hand, Ryung holds, but at a cost of 27 SCVs, he pulled all the boys. And suddenly he's down to 26 workers. Now, he does have a third, true. but it is not an orbital, so he has no mules. So he only has 2 orbitals. His mules are limited. He can still make 3 SCVs at a time. So he does have an economy. What's important though, he has the army. He has a massive army here. Marauders, he has Ghosts. Back at home, Shameless doesn't have much. He's just now warping in. He has a couple of High Templar gathering energy. But Shameless, he is vulnerable. He needs time. I don't think he can take a fight. Not right now. Morphs in another Archon. Ryung, he rotates. Still very scrappy. Nice EMP. Oh my god, EMP pops up. Prism goes down. Oh, the Mind Shot takes down the High Templar. And no more Storms are left. The Storms are not available. And without Storms, this army just crumbles. Yeah, Ryung, he's done it. Takes down the Archon, takes down the High Templar. GG gets called, and Ryung, he does bounce back. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Ryung, he will bring us back. Fun fact, if you weren't here for it, Shameless, he was up 2-0. He was up 2-0 in this series. Ryung, he wins game 3, he wins game 4. Now we're going all the way to game number 5. Get a very intense game, very clutch, very close, very back and forth. But Ryung, he's back in this. Here we go. Still going. I mean, the average length of our broadcasts are typically 4 hours. And we've been live for, what, 4.5? So that's what we expect. Between like 4 and 6 hours is our broadcast. But with that, GG, well played. We're going all the way to the ace match, all the way to game 5. And this can still go either way. This can go either way here. Does it go the way of Ryung? Does it go the way of Shameless? 3 hours. The stream went down. The stream went down earlier. So there's an extra hour on top of that. So add an hour to it. And that's how long we've been live. As we are getting into that ace. It's going to be on Starchild. Let's go. It's going to be on Starchild. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All good. But yeah, there was some technical issues earlier, so we had to restart the stream. But it's all good. Issues have since been resolved. And it all ends here. It all ends on Starchild. Now, for those that are curious, Starchild is a large map. It is a macro map in the map pool. It is a TLMC map. Just as a heads up, it is not a ladder map. But it did make it through the veto process. And this is where our story ends. On Starchild. Oh boy, and we get to the ace match. I wouldn't have it any other way. We do make it to the ace match. Beautiful. There we go. Oh. Looks like our players, they need a moment. Players do need a moment here. More than happy, of course, to calm down. Any news if there will be StarCraft 3 or Stormgate? Most likely, there probably won't be a StarCraft 3 for like another, I don't know, like maybe 5 to 10 years, depending on when kind of Blizzard gets itself like kind of like sorted once again. So, yeah, I don't think there's much reason when it comes to discussing like a sequel to StarCraft anytime soon. But there are plenty of other RTSs here on the horizon. Whether or not they're successful, yet to be determined. I mean, that's why we're still here covering SE2. It's something that we love, that we enjoy, that we're passionate about. All about that StarCraft. It's beautiful, beautiful. It's one of the things where we have yet to really, like, I haven't had the luxury of being able to really touch any of their upcoming games. Like, I haven't played any like Battle Aces or Zero Space or Stormgate. They all seem to have their own pros, their own cons, but we'll see whenever they come out. I'm sure like in 2026, 2027, I'm sure some of them will be released, and yeah, looking forward to trying them out ourselves. Again, I'm a big fan of RTS. You know, I grew up playing Age of Empires, grew up playing Brood War, of course, into Age of Mythology, Dawn of War, right? It's like plenty of RTSs back in the day. Does anyone remember the old Lord of the Rings RTS, like Battle for Middle-earth? Big RTS fan. So always looking forward to new RTSs coming out. But the reality is that, like, you know, the passion is there for StarCraft. Whether it's there for any other games, we'll see. We'll see. If so, then the Cranky Ducklings would, you know, try some of the other games out. But so far we haven't. We just haven't had the time to. It's been a little bit sad because I think there was like the open like alpha, open beta for like Stormgate, and all the other casters were like running events for them, for Stormgate and for Zero Space. But we didn't have the time to like to look at any of those events ourselves because we cast StarCraft on a daily basis. Like, we have no time. It's like someone else is like, oh, did you know, there was like this, yeah, like open Stormgate event happening. Like, have you thought about casting? It's like, well, I mean, we're casting StarCraft. Like, what? Like, we have no time. Unfortunately, no time. But here we go. We're jumping into the ace match here, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Starchild, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And this is it. This is where it all ends. Again, we have our best of 5 grand finals into the ace match here. And this could go either way. Shameless, he was up 2-0. He was so close to winning his very first Sparkling Tuna Cup. But alas, he has kind of fumbled the ball a little bit here in Game 3 and Game 4. Now we're here in the ace match. Momentum is in favor of our Terran player. And to be fair, Ryung has likewise never won a Sparkling Tuna Cup either. Both Ryung and Shameless, they have both made it far in these tournaments. They've made it into the finals before, but neither one has walked away with the Sparkling Tuna. Neither one. Not yet. Not yet here in their careers, but one of them is about to. Which one? Which one is going to win their first Sparkling Tuna Cup? We need to find out. Likewise, for now, we have economic openers. Ryung going for a rack expand. For the first time this series, I believe, is going for an economic start. Meanwhile, Shameless going for his own gate expand as well. Gate expand before Cybercore. Now, we are cutting corners. Both players are cutting corners. Both players are being economic. Both players are being greedy. The reasoning for this, of course, is the size of the map. Again, Starchild is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Very macro-oriented map as well. As a result, we have these economic starts, which I appreciate. Which means we have a high chance at getting into a 3-base setup, into a 3-base economy, in towards the mid-game. We'll keep an eye on our players to see if we have any kind of forms of aggression. Ryung moves out with the first Reaper. His goal here is to scout the tech, and we're imagining Twilight Council play. Stargate openers are viable on some of these larger maps, but I don't really know if Shameless is really one to play Stargate. He's been a Blink Boy for the most part in this series. We've seen a Robo opener previously, true. Did go for a Robo opener a couple of games ago. Actually, on Frostline, if you recall, did go for the earlier Robo. But there it is, a Stargate. Okay, let him cook, Pappy. Let him cook. As Shameless is going for the Stargate. With this, the goal here would be to either get economic damage done with Oracles or to embrace more Phoenixes. So we'll see what Shameless does go for. If he goes Phoenixes or Oracle into like Charge or Oracle into Blink. But again, there's a reason why we brought up Stargate play previously. Stargate openers are more commonplace on maps like Starchild, on Abyssal Reef, on Neo Violet Square. Reaper dives in, Reaper goes down, but does get a full scout, does get eyes on the Stargate. Now, suddenly, Ryung has a choice to make. He sees, okay, you're opening up Stargate. This means that Shameless is going to be vulnerable early on, and Ryung, can he punish? Now, with an economic opener, it means that his factory and starport are much later, so it's going to be difficult to punish. Instead, we might just see defensive play. I'm referring to Cyclone into Viking. To be more safe, to be more secure. And there it is, Cyclone is in production. Yep, and there's the Viking as well. Again, this is the standard response upon seeing a Stargate, is all things anti-air to make sure that your mineral lines are safe. Building up Cyclones, building up Vikings. Building up as much anti-air as possible. Nicely hosted, mate. It's my first time watching, and I'll definitely follow. Oh, thank you. So no, Elmo. Gracias. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Again, this is a weekly tournament, and I say this is a weekly tournament. We're live every single day. We're live on a daily basis, multiple times a day as well. So we have plenty of content here. We've been casting StarCraft full-time on a daily basis since COVID, since 2020. So we got plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Check out our YouTube as well. Our YouTube, all our VODs get uploaded, so we do upload VODs to YouTube on a daily basis. So there's plenty of games, plenty of matches, plenty of StarCraft. Meanwhile, this is what we've been waiting for. If you remember, at the start of the series, at the very start of the series, I spoke about how I was waiting for mech. I was waiting for mech at least once, and I was expecting it on Amygdala. We did not get it on Amygdala, but we're getting it here on Starchild. Mass Factory into Magfield into mech. Let's go. For those that haven't been watching Ryung's play, Ryung, he is known for this. Ryung, he is one of the few Terran players that does play mech against Protoss. Players like Ryung, players like Gumiho. Those are the two that come to mind that are willing to mech it up against Protoss. It is very niche, it is a very unique style, and we have seen it work against the best Protosses in the world. I'm referring to Hero, I'm referring to Max Packs, like they have popped up, but again, it is very much so not a standard playstyle whatsoever, and not something that they rely upon. It's something that Gumiho and Ryung, they like to mix in, like once, maybe twice in the series. If you were here last week, we casted Ryung versus Skillus in the semifinals of this tournament, and Ryung, he did do this twice actually against Skillus. Did play mech twice. Two variations though. I think it was in game 1 where Ryung did go Magfield and Mass Cyclone. I want to say in game 2 he went earlier tanks into mass tank production. But now though, he is moving out, and Shameless is vulnerable right now. He has a couple units, but he doesn't really have much support for those Immortals. The Immortals are exposed, Cyclones do push, and we'll see, can Ryung snipe those Immortals? Can he lock down? Can he lock on, I should say. Likewise, Observer does spot the army. Phoenixes, they rotate over in position. Lock-ons here on the Phoenixes. They send them away. The last doesn't want to get caught out. There is a concave. And Shameless, he's holding. For now, he's holding on. Lock-ons, they don't quite catch out the Phoenix. Ooh, one Cyclone falls. Trades 1 for 1, 1 for 2. One Cyclone for 2 Phoenixes. Better trade for Ryung. He does back off. He does rotate. Behind this, more Phoenixes into Colossus. So Phoenix Colossus here by Shameless. So from here, Ryung, he is rotating. Here, rotating over up. Getting lock-on off. Does trigger the shields. Shields are triggered. Mineral Line under fire, getting 3 probe kills so far. Oh, gets 3. Does get 3 workers. Mine shots going off. They shut down the Phoenixes. And Phoenix Count gets reset. The Colossus is exposed. And Ryung is so close to breaking through. The Colossus is going to go down. And now it's all about the Immortals. Yeah, the Immortals. The mine shots. Oh my god, massive connections. Vikings, they land. And Ryung, he breaks through. He breaks through the defensive line, takes down the Colossus. The Immortals, the everything. And with that, he rallies forward. GG gets called. The mech overwhelms. And Ryung, he will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Very decisive play there by Ryung, able to strike just before there was too much support. As we were trying to emphasize there, again, Shameless, he had Colossus, he had Immortals, he had Phoenixes, but the Gateway army was lacking. And typically it's your Gateway army, your Charge Ults and your Stalkers that buffer, that support, that tank those lock-ons, and that preserve your high-tech units. But in that moment, or specifically with that build, going Phoenix Colossus, your Gateway count is very low. It's a very low Gateway count, very low Gateway army, and with that, Ryung did over well. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Ryung. He will claim the series. He will be our champion. And my condolences to Shameless. Shameless, he came so close. He came so close. Again, Shameless, he has never won. I mean, neither has Ryung. Neither one of these two players has won a Sparkling Tuna Cup before. But Ryung, he will claim his win in style with mech as well. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. 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 Oh. I'm having a little impromptu interview with Ryung. I want to probe his mind a little bit. We'll see if he responds. We'll see. Make it happen. Este, Nia. Oh no, true. Nia's another one. Power move. Ah, the power. The power. So I asked Ryung, I was like, what makes you decide to play Mech versus Protoss? Only you and Gumiho, I think. And Ryung, he said, so many Terran players try Bio, but they never win. And Ryung's like, so sometimes I try Mech, and sometimes I win. Beautiful, beautiful. Ah, so wise, so wise. And as we assumed, oh, let's go. So okay, so Ryung, he said so he saw the Stargate, so he responded with Mech, which is what we assumed, right? Like he saw the Stargate opener, so he responded with Macville accelerators, with Mass Cyclone, but he ended it saying Ryung, he said Gumiho Mech less than Ryung Mech. True, greater than Gumiho. GG, thank you for competing. How do I say kamsamnida? How do I spell that? Kamsamnida. Beautiful, beautiful. Cycle Wind Mine is good versus Stargate. Yeah. As we assumed, but I wanted to get his thoughts, the thoughts from Ryung himself. Thoughts from Ryung. But yes, confirmed. Ryung greater than Gumiho. But yeah, GG, well played. Congratulations to Ryung. Very fitting as well. Again, this event was named after Ryung a little bit, for a third of it, I want to say. For those that are curious, Ryung, he has a nickname. He has a nickname amongst the Koreans. He is the Tuna Terran. The reason why it's called the Tuna Terran is because in Korea there is a brand of canned tuna called Dongwon. That's a brand of canned tuna in Korea. It's quite a popular brand as well. And Ryung's IRL name is Dongwon. So his name is Dongwon. That's a brand of canned tuna. So because of that, they do call him the Tuna Terran. We call him that as well, of course. And when we were first starting our tournaments, this was when Alima League was kind of dying down. When Alima League stopped becoming a weekly tournament, Alima League used to be a weekly Korean event, and we did decide to step in to replace Alima League to have an open cup for the Korean scene, open to all regions, but, you know, kind of like focus and centralize towards a more Korean-friendly time slot and time zone. When coming up with the name of our tournaments, we needed to come up with an idea for the mascot. And when trying to think about one, Ryung came to mind. He's like, hey, he's a tuna, we're the ducks. Why do we make a tournament involving a tuna of some kind? So again, Ryung, he's the reason why we started this event many years ago as a tuna for the mascot. So Sparkling Tuna Cup. Likewise, the reason why it's sparkling is because that is a meme. That's a GSL meme. For those that watch the GSL, especially a couple of years ago, they used to be sponsored by sparkling water. And there was like whenever they would run a sparkling water ad, the chat would just spam sparkling in the chat. A lot of ads, a lot of memes surrounding GSL. So we did, that's where sparkling comes from. And the cup comes from the acronym STC. So we needed a C, like we had the S, we had the T, we had sparkling, we had tuna, and we made it a cup instead of like a weekly or a tournament or something like that. Sparkling Tuna Cup. The reasoning for that is STC, or the STC, is a Korean Terran player. He's a Korean Terran player who is also near and dear to our hearts as well. So again, it is all a reference to Ryung, to GSL, to the STC, all a reference to the Korean scene. The Korean scene. And finally, after many, many years of Sparkling Tuna Cup, Ryung wins for the first time. Let's go, let's go. Ryung, he wins for the first time. Now we need the STC to play as well. Well, you know what's crazy is that the STC, he retired like at the start of Legacy of the Void. He retired a long time ago, a very long time ago. But for those of you that are a little bit more engrossed in the scene, you would know that the STC returned like a month ago, like back in December, like around December. He returned kind of as a player, but as a caster. Like the SSC, he's been casting. He hasn't been casting regular StarCraft though. He's been casting StarCraft Evolution, and he's been playing in StarCraft Evolution as well. He actually played, I think in December in StarCraft Evolution events, and he's been casting. So that was mind-boggling, by the way. I remember it was back in December. I got into cast some StarCraft as we do, and I noticed the STC online. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what? Is that you? It's like, why are you here? It's been years. But yeah, he came back, and kind of like a little bit as a player, mainly as a content creator. So really cool to see after many years the SEC return. Now we just have to play him. We just have to get him to play in our tournaments. Get him to play. Yeah. The tuna won the tuna. Yes, Tropicana. Yes. Beautiful. And it's TvP because there's little ducklings swimming in the little pond of Diamond League next to the ocean of Masters. There's another story for that for another time. Oh no. But sure, yeah. Ducklings, Diamond players, kind of. May as well. But with that, GG well played. With that does conclude our tournaments. That concludes our weekly. Again, do check out the bracket or the VODs for the rest of the event. I know that our event this week did clash with the Wardy TV qualifiers for the TLMC, and it also clashed with Pig's Cast of the Pigsty Festival. So I do know that did impact viewership. I know that a lot of people were watching other events at the same time, so I do apologize for that. But this does also mean that players that weren't a part of those events were able to perform, compete, and have deep runs in this tournament, whereas otherwise they would sometimes struggle. I mentioned this before, but Ryung and Shameless, they'd never won before, and now we get a new champion. Usually it's players like Skillus that's stopping them, but Skillus, I believe, was playing in the Pigsty event, so Skillus could not play in this week's tournament. I'm sure he'll be here next time, though. Otherwise, if you want to help support this tournament, !Matcherino in the chat. You'll get a link to the Matcherino page. This event is funded via that Matcherino page, so you can help fund us and you can help support us through that. Otherwise, Patreon is the place to be. Hold on, ! Patreon. There we go. And Matcherino. But Patreon, that is where we do fund all of our tournaments. Currently, we're not quite at our goal. We're almost there, almost at our goal. But thank you so much to all of our patrons. Thank you so much to all of our patrons on Patreon. Without you, our events wouldn't be as large as they are. They wouldn't be as funded as they are, and the players would be worse off as a result. So thank you. Thank you so much. 100% of the money goes towards our players, or goes towards the events and goes towards the players as a result. Our next goal is at 400 USD a month, and that is to boost the prize pool for STC, to increase it, and to pay out top 4. Currently, only top 2 get paid, and we are so close to paying out top 4. We're almost there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Stick around. We're gonna be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Who's live at the moment? I know that Wardy is live, but he has plenty of viewers. We usually try to raid smaller streamers. I see Railgun is streaming. Sal is asleep. We'll find. I know Strange is live. We'll find someone. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Otherwise, thanks so much. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be back in like 9 hours. We're going to be back in 9 hours time with some OSC, with OSC Season 12 Championship. Likewise, we should also be hosting the Wardy TV Monday. I don't think we have confirmation that there's going to be a Wardy TV Monday, but we should have one unless there's some TLMC going on. It's possible that there might be some Team Liquid Map contest instead, if like events. So we'll try to confirm. Otherwise, we'll at least be live tomorrow with some OSC content. Un momento here as we check out our schedule. Bam! There we go. Yeah, for the time being. So we have OSC on Monday. We have Picastore Monday on Tuesday. We have OSC King of the Hill on Tuesday evening. We have Code for Giants Cup, the Podcast, FSL, SEL, Sea Duckling Open, and some Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. We have plenty of content throughout the week. We're live on a daily basis. And I did mention this before, and time to embrace it here and now. But March should be a little bit leaner for us. If you know anything about the Cranky Ducklings, you will know that usually we are live twice a day, every single day. But you can see here for this week, we have a couple of days where we only have one broadcast. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, let's go. So March should be a little bit leaner like this, where we're still live on a daily basis, but now sometimes only one cast a day, which means one, I can catch up with scheduling all the VODs and editing VODs and working on social media, but two, I get to sleep properly. It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be able to sleep, Bobby. Oh my god. I should also be able to stream. Should be able to stream on my own personal channel as well. I should be able to have some free time to ladder, to play some StarCraft. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be beautiful. Look forward to that. Coming into March. Look forward to it. Just a little bit more free time. Otherwise, thanks so much. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to check out my content, you can do so via the command !light in the chat, !lights, and you can follow us there if you wish. Again, I will try to stream a little bit more this week now that we are a little bit more available. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Find someone to raid. See you there. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.